Hey guys, Speedoz here, and today bring you a new video about the Storm Brand Archmage, which in my opinion is one of the strongest, if not the strongest build in 3.10 Delirium, if you don't consider obviously the broken build Herald stacking, which is gonna be busted for sure in 3.10 nerf confirmed. Alright, so level 93 we've reached, very easy leveling. For the bandits we've helped Alira for the critical strike multiplier and the resists. First Ascendancy, we chose Hierophant, Sign of Purpose, which allows us to cast an additional brand, Divine Guidance for the increased maximum mana and Transfiguration of Mind, very useful, then some Illuminated Devotion, and of course Arcane Blessing. If you want to go for a more defensive way, you can go for Sanctuary of Thought instead of Arcane Blessing. I will show in the pub later on, but Arcane Blessing increases our damage by a lot, and Sanctuary of Thought increases our survivability by a lot. But on the tree, I went this way, all up here, got some jewels. It's very important that you get the jewels as soon as possible, so you can socket our Fevered Mind jewels, which I'll show you in a moment. This one here is very nice. You're gonna rush this node, which is Rune Binder. It will give us the additional brand attached to an enemy, which basically doubles our damage. Instead of one brand, which is the default, the enemy is gonna have 2 brands attached to it at maximum, which is very nice. Then we go all this way here, and basically on the tree you wanna get as many mana nodes as possible and brand nodes as possible, along with the jewel nodes. Okay, so first jewel here, it's Fevered Mind. We've got some. We've got one here, another one here, two other ones here, and another one here, which totals 5. Okay, this Fevered Mind has increased spell damage, varying from 30 to 40. You don't actually need the maximum roll. I just wanted to do a kind of being maximum without spending too much, because the difference of price wasn't too high. But the most important thing here is the increased mana cost of skills, because we use Archmage, and Archmage relies on mana cost of skills. So the more mana you spend, the higher the damage you will have. So this jewel is very important. The more you have, more damage you will do with this kind of build. Then you can get a Watcher's Eye with gain maximum mana as extra energy shield while affected by clarity. This is not mandatory, but if you have one of these, your energy shield will go up by a lot. You can see right now we have a lot of mana. We have at the moment a maximum of 9,710. If we turn down our clarity, our energy shield goes down to 4,900. But if we turn this on, we can go to 7,200 ES. So it's a lot of extra ES. And like I said, you can choose between these energy shield or more damage with this Arcane Blessing. Here on the POB, it's a very interesting thing to see. We can see our damage here is 25 million, and our maximum ES is 7,000. Okay, so as soon as we change the Ascendancy here, we take out this Arcane Blessing and put the Sanctuary of Thought, our damage goes down by half, since we have 50% less mana cost of skills. Sorry. But our ES goes from 7,200 up to almost 10k ES, which is a lot. Basically because we gain 20% maximum mana as extra energy shield. So this really works like the Watcher's Eye does. If you can't afford the Watcher's Eye, which at the moment is costing 35 exalts, which is what I paid, you can see here, if you don't have the Watcher's Eye, our ES is what I showed you, 4,900. But if you take the Sanctuary of Thought, your ES goes back to 7.3k, which is a lot, right? And if you have both, your ES can go up to almost 10k ES. So very nice option. This build gives you the option to choose between survivability and damage. Okay. So going back to the tree, We can also have a few cluster jewels here. First of all, we have this large cluster jewel with 8 passives and increased lightning damage on the small passive skills with scintillating idea, storm drinking, and 2 jewel sockets. I got some all attributes here, but it could be only dex or strength. It really depends on whatever you need for your build at the moment. But scintillating idea gives us maximum mana and damage penetration, lightning resist. Storm drinking gives us lightning pen and lightning damage leached as energy shield, which is huge. 2 dual sockets to socket the fever mines here. The other large cluster is very similar. It has 8 passive skills, increased lightning damage, also has scintillating idea, storm drinker, 2 dual sockets, but this one has a disorienting display. Disorienting display increases this large cluster jewel, increases its price by a lot. I paid 7 exaltas for this one, but you don't actually need it, it's not necessary. You can use a very similar one on the budget version. I will show you guys later on. You'll have in the video's description 3 options. One is a life budget, one is a mana and energy shield based budget. Another one is the final version, which is what you are seeing right now. So don't worry if you don't have the currency. I'll give you these options on the video's description pop. Okay, so another dual socket to have the fever mine, and this dual socket we're gonna use a small cluster jewel with 2 passive skills, maximum increased maximum energy shield, and some stats, intelligence to have more mana and more ES, dexterity for our gear, and Will Shaper. Will Shaper is a very nice and notable skill which gives us 5% of maximum mana as extra energy shield. So you can see here all the interactions are between mana and energy shield most of the time. All passive tree relies on it. And the last jewel of it is the Healthy Mind. The rolls vary from 15 to 20% increase at maximum mana, and it makes all the increased reductions to life in radius are transformed to apply to mana at 200% of their value, so very huge. So you can transform, for example, these nodes here, they become the increased maximum mana instead of maximum life, for example, okay? For the gear, you want to choose any weapon with increased spell damage on the implicit. Could be a wand, a scepter, or a dagger. The important modifiers here are increased critical strike chance for spells, global critical strike multiplier, and maximum mana. Obviously, you can get higher tiers. My tier for the maximum mana, as you can see, is tier 7 only. So very cheap weapon. I paid 20C. If you can also multi-mod the weapon with increased spell damage, non-chaos damage as extra chaos, and gain lightning damage as extra chaos. So very nice weapon for the build. Mind Spiral, in my opinion, probably is gonna be the best in slot here. You can have lots of maximum mana, gain percentage of maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield, and some percentage of the damage is taken is gained as mana over 4 seconds when hit. So very nice, offensively and defensively speaking. For the enchantment, you can have a Storm Brand penetrates lightning resistance from the enemy. So very nice enchant, which I didn't manage to have, and it costs lots of exalts at the moment. I think last time I checked it was around 70 exalts. So really up to you if you want to sell it and have some very nice profit, or you can put it on the build. Okay. So the shield is the Prismic Guardian, since we are low life, gives us aura gems, reduced mana reservation, very useful shield for the build. As it is foilable for the amulet because of the high amount of maximum mana, increased maximum mana, some mana regen, and also the reduced attributes requirement, which makes us save some really nice points on the tree. The allocation here, the anointment, is the Mind Drinker over here, so we can save all those points. And Mind Drinker has increased maximum mana and 2% of mana recovered on kill, which is very nice quality of life when you're mapping. You can see on the clips that my mana goes up and down every time, and this is because of the Mind Drinker node. Very, very useful anointment here. The rings, you want to get cerulean rings with item level at least 85, so you can hit the tier 1 of maximum mana if you're lucky. The important modifiers here are maximum mana, some decks if you're gonna use some chain for the clear speed, which I will explain it right in a few moments. And then all you want to have is maximum mana, energy shield, and resist basically. You can see this one is all about resistance as well. Has some resistance crafted over 90. If you sum up all these, it's 100 elemental res. So you can see here it's all about elemental res. Okay, the mana and the energy shield is like a bonus. So Vinebringer, very nice gloves because it increases the mana cost of our skills by a lot, which in consequence increases our damage, and also obviously has increased critical strike chance for spells and +1 of socketed elemental gems, very useful. Obviously best slot for the build regarding chest is the Ivory Tower because it works like the chevrons. It doesn't allow the chaos damage bypass your energy shield, so it doesn't hit any of your life, but it gives us plenty of maximum mana intelligence, which is very nice for stacking as much mana as possible. So very nice chest indeed. We also have a Stygian Vise because of the Abyss Jewel socket, for us to socket a Abyss Jewel with maximum mana, some damage if you can, I mean damage to spells, and also the phasing. Phasing is the most important thing here because it will increase our quality of life and mapping by a lot. Our survivability when you're moving between the mobs. Alright, the modifiers on the belt here, some energy shield, some mana, and of course some resists whenever you can. Okay, Skyforth, very nice boots for the build because of the maximum mana, movement speed, power charge on crit, but you can also use a rare boots if you want. You don't necessarily need the Skyforth. The rare boots should have maximum mana, energy shield, movement speed, and some resists. If you can get resists on the boots, it's very good because you can then prioritize more mana and more mana nodes and more energy shield nodes on those rings. Alright, which will increase your survivability and your damage as we've talked about. For the flasks, you can use a basalt flask for defensive layers against porcupines, for example, a diamond flask for our crit chains, a Sirus promise because of the elemental damage's extra chaos damage, a cinder swallow with critical strike chance, very nice for mapping as well, and also a quicksilver for our movementation. You can replace a basalt or a diamond or a quicksilver, for example, when mapping or when bossing for a bottle faith if you wanna have even more damage, because it will increase our critical strike chance by a lot on the consecrated ground. Alright? For the skill gems, we have Flame Dash, Clarity, and a Portal. A Clarity needs to be level 1, it's just for the benefit from the Watcher's Eye because of the energy shield. We also use Arcane Cloak with Arcane Surge, Increased Duration, and Second Wind. Arcane Surge should be level 20-20 because we have plenty of mana, so we can afford to spend lots of mana and still get the bonus. And as soon as we use the Arcane Cloak, we proc Arcane Surge, as you can see here. We got some defensive layer because of the absorption of the damage from buff before our life or energy shield, and also because of the lightning damage bonus, as you can see here. We also use Vol Discipline, Zealotry, and Wrath. It is very important that these gems stay on the shield because of the reduced mana reservation and the blood magic interaction, so they go straight to life. Also, we use Wave of Conviction, Conductivity, Curse on Hit, and Vol Righteous Fire. Vol Righteous Fire is very useful when you're bossing, so increase our damage by a lot, more damage. Wave of Conviction, you just press this button and then it will apply Lightning Exposure, which will decrease the boss or the enemy's lightning res by a lot, and also it will hit and curse with Conductivity, which will decrease the lightning res from the boss even further. Okay. For the Storm Brand, we have Storm Brand, Conk Effects, Control Destruction, Lightning Pen, Elemental Focus, and Archmage. We can also, when you're mapping, you can replace control destruction with chain or awakening chain, because the Storm Brand will chain between the mods and will increase your clear speed by a lot, as you saw on the clips. Whenever you hit or whenever you find a boss, you can swap this gem. I mean, for conquerors or for a specific boss with very nice health, very high amount of health. For example, 100% Deliriums, or maybe Elder Guardians, Shaper Guardians. But to be honest, the damage from the Awakening Chain is enough most of the time when you're playing. You only need then a 6 link with 5 blue sockets and a green socket, or a white socket from the Vorici on the Betrayal, which you can, without corrupting the body armor, you can replace one of the sockets with a white socket, from 1 to 3 white sockets, depending on your RNG and on Vorici's level. So very useful if you can have a Ivory's Tower with 6 blue and then only 1 white socket, so you can swap whenever you feel like you need to. Okay. The last I have Enhance, Second Wind, and Power, and Brand Recall. Increasing the level and the quality of Brand Recall will drastically improve your mapping quality of life, because as you can see here, you can remove the Archmage and then keep casting the Brand Recall. It will follow very, very frequently. If you have a low level and low quality Brand Recall, you can easily notice the difference between a Brand Recall like this. I used in Power 4 because at the current state of the game, it is very cheap. It cost me around 1x or 1x and something. Don't really remember right now. But yeah, a few tricks playing this build. You can, like I showed you just now, you can remove the Archmage. It will reduce the mana cost by a lot. It goes only all down to 300. And then we can cast all the brands that we have. At the moment is 5. So whenever you go casting Brand Recall, the cost of this skill is back to 8,000. If you cast it again, you can see the mana cost here. But it works just fine with Brand Recall. Okay. The cost of this skill is really, really low. And it's basically a cast while walking, right? Because we are just walking here and it still works. It still makes the Brand Recall work. So very, very nice. The only thing that you should notice when you're mapping is when you change the level from the zone, or for example, going up the stairs or going down a stairs or entering a boss arena. Sometimes the count of the brands, even if it shows 5 for you, it will only recall 1 brand. So you have to pay attention to that. I don't know why, I don't know if it's a bug or something, but it only recalls 1 brand. So pay attention to that. And yeah, I think I've covered most of the important topics from the build. The air was very dry here, so sorry about my voice if it sounds weird. And well, I spent 58x with the Watcher's Eye, which cost me 35. Without the Watcher's Eye, it cost me 23. Without this large cluster jewel, the cost goes down to 15. So it's really about if you want to min-max this build or not. I mean, you can do it with maybe 2 or 3 exalts, even lower, with a lower amount. But if you choose to invest, this build can go, I don't know, maybe to 100 exalts or even further. So, for example, my one costs only 20 chaos. So, these things that you should consider when building this one. In my opinion, if this isn't nerfed in the next league, probably most of the people will play this build. This didn't only happen in 3.10 because of the Herald stacking. Obviously, Herald stacking is even stronger, but it's very game breaking build. So probably if it isn't nerfed, this will be one of the most played builds in 3.11. Let's see if this is gonna be nerfed or not. We're gonna still consider the change of the numbers. I don't know if it's even gonna happen, but have this in mind. All right, very nice build, very nice damage, survivability. You can do it even with maybe less, probably certainly less than 10 exalts. So make sure to check on the video's description. I'll have for you 3 different pops. One for life budget, one for energy shield budget, and the final version here. Obviously you can spend more and min-max it for yourself. Okay, so hope this guide was useful. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys liked the video and see you next time. Vou dar assim mesmo.
Putrefy, rot, spoil, and fester.
Exile, do something.
Ah, devem estar aqui nos dois, praticamente. Confunde muito isso daqui, velho. Eu vou usar normal mesmo. É tanto dano, cara, que... Você viu o que aconteceu? Os dois tomaram hit kill insta-phase. Nossa! Mano, na hora que o Storm Brand bate nele é muito dano. Ó.
You are nothing.
What's this? A real challenge? You've finally caught my attention. Die.
Watch beauty crumble.
Acho que eu peguei de 9 e perdi um ponto à toa. Ah, então é melhor pegar de 8, hein? Fez a mudança na cluster? Nice, fiz. Agora tá fechadinho, velho. Bonitinha essa build aqui, hein? Pô, uma das builds que eu mais me diverti.
Be utterly
The others found
annihilated.
strength in their projections. They became reliant on it. I am not so foolish.
This city is nothing.
Você bate com o Wave of Conviction, já aplica o Lightning Exposure, já bate o com Conductivity. Isso que o Curson Rei tá sem qualidade.
Pointless.
Life really interesting enough to warrant all this pain.
Watch beauty crumble.
Quanto de DPS? Cara, parado aqui, ó, sem o... Sem Power Charges. 452.